are again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to Entomed.
We're back. And hopefully we're better than ever.
Yeah, I realized our table's kind of far away today, so I'll just
side tables.
hold my things.
You can put it on the bookshelf, which now we have all this recorded, so great.
It's fine.
Okay.
They can watch us figure out where to put things.
Welcome to the first episode of 2026 and our look back at 2025 stats.
Yeah, and top books of 2025.
And everything that happened in our lives in 20... Just kidding, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Tell me about your break. Did you have a nice time off?
I did. I did. I went to visit my family, and my sister was there with her 1-year-old niece, and that was a lovely time. I had a great time hanging out with a 1.5-year-old.
All the auntie time.
If you, I highly suggest hanging out with
just
hanging out with 1.5-year-olds. That's my favorite age, is one getting closer to 2, for like early development, I should say. But yeah, we had a lovely time.
Cool.
How about you? How was your break?
I mean, I fully went into not quite hibernation mode, but introvert hibernation mode. So I had a week and a half off, and I didn't travel anywhere. I couldn't really go hiking because we were having torrential downpours. But I read 5 books. I made 3 shirts. I did countless puzzles. I just I watched TV. I played video games. It was just
very
full,
relaxing, lovely.
Yeah.
What is that Swedish thing of
Hygge?
comfort? Yeah, very hygge.
Sorry.
I was going to say hygge, so
Great.
I'm glad you said it first. So it was correct.
Yeah. But I did get to read a lot, so
Yeah.
definitely. We both read some of the same things because we
did.
were texting each other. I read the first thing I read, which was my transitioning out of work palette cleanser, was How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days.
Me too.
And then I made you read.
Yeah, because Brenda said we've read this author's books before. Sophie.
Irwin.
I always want to say Richie, but I'm pretty sure that's like a
Sophie
famous
Richie.
person.
Guy Ritchie, writes romance books.
And she told me that she had just come out with another one, so I also was like, oh yeah, let's read that.
Perfect.
And it was perfect. It was perfect for a transitional thing, and moving into. I listened to it actually before I was at the airport. I finished it. Really fast.
What?
Because I couldn't sleep.
Oh,
And anytime I can't sleep, I just listen to a book.
lot.
Yeah.
I feel like half of your reading stats from this year, I wonder...
Or from insomnia, 100%. And or I also wake up very early, and then I take a really long time to get ready, so I just listen.
Okay,
During that time. So I'll wake up at 5:30, and then I don't need to go anywhere till 7, and so I'm listening to a book during that time.
Okay.
So that's helpful too. If you can't sleep, listen to a book.
Listen to books.
Stay up all night and then finish it in the morning when you wake up too early because you have insomnia.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a weird tangent.
So that was How to Lose a Lord in 10 Days, which, as
Yeah.
you know, I'm not a huge romance person, but I do have a soft spot for occasionally Regency romance. And I'm not talking Bridgerton, although I do watch the show, not the books. This is a different level.
I'm
it's
picky
more
about it.
playful comedy.
Yeah.
It's a good time. So it's a palette cleanser. And then I went straight from that into finishing the Between Earth and Sky series.
Yeah, me too. I think that was the next book I finished. Or was it the second book in the Mad Adam trilogy? I can't remember. But I did finish the Between the Mirrored Heavens first, and I wrote Brendan was like, you have to finish this book. It was so good, and it was so good. And we will have a deep dive episode about it.
Coming up soon.
So I'm not going to say too much, but I'll just say that's a perfect trilogy. I liked it so much.
Also, this wine is very good.
And then
Do you like it?
I do, yeah. And then since I mentioned it, I'll just say I also read the second book in the Mad Adam series, which is the first book is Oryx and Crake. And I haven't read or even really started the third book yet. I think my brain has shifted away. I think, actually, I told you this, after the Mirrored Heavens, I was I can't read any more speculative fiction right now because it was too good. That it's no matter what I read, it's not going to hit the same because this was too much a page book, exactly what I'm looking for in a book. So I had to move to other genres. So I moved to first time ever, I gave 2 holiday romances a go.
Oh.
And they were cute and perfect and just what I wanted.
Was it Jingle All the Sleigh?
Oh my God, no. I wouldn't read a book titled that, Brenda. I just couldn't.
You would.
I could be corny, but I can't be that corny.
Okay.
I have a limit. I have my own limits. I don't like Hallmark movies.
Do you remember? Sorry. No, I'm just getting into stories. But wasn't it last year we tried to watch
some terrible movie?
Terrible Hallmark movie because it was the
called
guy
Jack Frost or something.
Yes, it was the guy from Schitt's Creek, and we're like, well, maybe we can
It'll
stomach
be fun. It was supposed to be like I thought it would be like dumb romance on purpose, but no, it's just bad.
It was so bad, and I watched some bad Hallmark movies when I'm bored.
Yeah,
we couldn't.
No, it was unwatchable.
Anyway.
I can't watch Hallmark movies. I can watch bad romance movies, but for some reason Hallmark, I can't do it. It's unwatchable to me.
So these weren't that bar.
Yeah, which is what I think of as Christmas romance. Yeah. That's why I've never read them before. But I watched a YouTuber, Carrie Can Read. She reads holiday romances every year.
Shout out.
And she was able to
cross-pollinating.
Yeah, so I looked at her videos to see which ones to read, and it was by an Irish author, Catherine Walsh, I think. And I read Snowed In and Holiday Romance. I think that's the names of them. But they were just cute. Right. They were just like a contemporary romance book, but based around the holidays.
A good time.
Yeah, it was just cute. It was a good time. I would recommend them if you like romance
You read 2
books.
of those? Mm-hmm. Oh. I read, okay, so after Married Heaven, I picked up this book I had started reading, I think this year or maybe last year, and couldn't get into it, so I decided to try again. And it's called Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Black. I do like Holly Black. She typically writes, am I saying the wrong author? Not Holly Black. Holly Jackson.
Yeah, you do that every time.
I know I'm doing this wrong. Holly Jackson.
Yes. Yeah.
Caught myself.
Yeah.
Writes.
This explains so much because in my head I was like, you didn't tell me you read Holly Black, but you did tell me you read Holly Jackson.
Holly Jackson writes a lot of YA murder mysteries, and this is an adult murder mystery. And kind of the conceit of the book is that the character's already dead and she's solving her own mystery.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it called again? Sorry.
Not Quite Dead Yet.
Not Quite Dead Yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But she is dead.
Well, okay, so now
I have so many questions.
So somebody tries to murder her, and basically she is rushed to the hospital, and they're like, you made it, you're alive. And then the doctor comes in and he's like, no, they hit you in this spot and you have 6 days to live and then you'll die. And she's like, okay, I have 6 days left. I'm going to fucking solve my own murder.
Okay.
And so the book is the 6 or 7 days of solving her murder.
Okay, gotcha.
And it was fine. I actually prefer Holly Jackson's YA murder mysteries, which are like Good Girl's Guide to Murder and etc.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Charlie just came out.
Charlie. My personal ghost. Or my own ghost. And that way. I read Murder Mystery. Oh, and then I read Richard Ayoade's The Unfinished Harold Hughes, which is a just ridiculous, humorous book of a fake biography of a playwright. And it's all the voices of British comedians that I love. So Stephen Merchant, Noel Fielding from the IT Crowd, and old Greg, for those of you out there. I know some of my college friends watch this. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that was kind of a nice palette color. Is that everything? Is that everything you read?
No, I also read The Magical Witch's Guide to Innkeeping, or whatever the name of that book is, by Sangu.
Sangu Mandana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Never
I read...
say the titles right. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're too long to remember. But I got the gist of it. I know it's a witch is something to housekeeping.
She's an innkeeper.
Magical housekeeping?
Innkeeper. She's not a housekeeper. She's an innkeeper.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, yeah, I said housekeeping. That's all right. It's innkeeping. Yeah. Anyways, I read that. That was cute. And then I also read Rejection. I always want to call it Reflection, but that's not what it's called. It's called Rejection by Tony something. Brenda will look it up and put it on screen. And that's like a whole bunch of little short vignettes about these characters being rejected. And there's a little bit of a through line in that, like there's a little bit of a through line, but mostly it's kind of just little short stories of people being rejected.
This one, I was curious about that.
And I thought it was okay.
Okay, well, I won't read it then. Tony.
Tony.
We'll put the last name on the...
Yes.
I'm not going to mispronounce it on camera.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I thought it was okay. I think I can understand why, because a lot of people really liked it, which is why I read it. I think that if I was probably a little younger, it might have been more interesting to me.
Was it like a 20s kind of vibe?
No, they had old people there too, but like some of the characters were older, but it felt like it. I don't know. I don't want to get too into it. I just thought it was okay. That's what I'll say. I don't think it was bad. I think he's a good writer. I don't think it was my type of book, or it wasn't what I was looking for in a book called Rejection, about short stories about rejection, personally. I think some of the stories were really, really good, though. Like, there was parts of the book that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then there were parts of it that I feel like sometimes the stories went on a little too long and got a little too wordy. And I was like, okay, now I'm getting bored. And you're losing me a little bit, but like there's definitely parts of it that are very good, and I think that it just wasn't right for me, and I think definitely there's people out there that would very much enjoy it, and I think if you're younger, you would feel more. I feel like it might be thoughts that you maybe are just beginning to have, and it would be helpful to read it and think through those types of things.
Okay, fair.
As a 40-year-old, I am fully aware of rejection and what that feels like and looks like in all its ways and forms. Yeah, I'm allowed.
I didn't say you were. I'm just making sure everyone else heard. And I'm just taking this moment to eyebrow as much as I can.
Okay, go for it.
Before my eyebrows fall out.
Oh, is that what's going to happen as you will age, or are you shaving them
off? In my family, no. My family, we lose our eyebrows. Anyway, shall we talk about our breakdown of reading stats from 2025?
Sure, yeah.
So, preface. We both use Storygraph to track our reading. If you haven't heard of Storygraph, it's like Goodreads, but it's not owned by Amazon yet. Please don't buy them out. So if you want to support something that's not Amazon run, Storygraph allows you to track your reading, see what your friends are reading, and then it gives you this nice analysis of what you're reading and the kind of moods. So,
yeah.
What were your... Talk to us about about your Storygraph. You'd think I'd been drinking before this, but I haven't been. I'm just very happy today.
I read 126 books. Short
in her sleep.
Small. In my sleep. Well, not in my sleep. Yeah. And let's see here. My top genres were things that I would have anticipated. Fantasy was number 1. Romance, young adult, contemporary, and literary. Kind of goes like that, and then obviously they break it down more, but whatever.
I mean, I'm not surprised you said fantasy.
Just number 1, yeah.
You've had a huge fantasy year.
Yeah.
I mean, you started off with reading every
realm.
Romanov.
Yeah, the realm of the Elder Lane. So I think I started off with 18 books. 18. And then I also read the Shadowhunter, so that's another 18 books because I have issues. And that's fine. I'm fine with those issues. I'll accept them. So fantasy. And fantasy was my top category last year. I think that tracks for me. I was reading a lot more literary and contemporary this year than I did last year. But I remember last year was the first year that I think I had ever read romance. I think before that I never bothered.
Yeah, you
and didn't think I would like it. And so I was like trying to figure out the parts of it I liked and parts that I didn't like and all that jazz. So I obviously found parts I liked because then it was number 2
that was up there
this year. Yeah. How about you?
Let's see. I definitely did not read as much as Paige read. I read 79 books. But if you include my DNFs, that brings it up close to 100. One of my goals this year specifically was I'm kind of a completionist.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like there's like this expectation that I have to finish the book. I have to force myself to read so that I'm a good reader and I learn things. And I, this year, committed to hey, there's a lot of books in the world. You can't read all of them, so give it a healthy go.
Yeah. A healthy go.
Which for me is I have to read half of the book, whatever the length is. And then I'm allowed to DNF it. So I think I DNF'd at least 14 books. I think there were more that I just didn't write down. Because there were some that I actually, first page, I was like, no. But the ones that I know for sure that I read half, 14 DNF'd. But the biggest split, so I am fully a nerd. I love data. My cat's eating, so if you hear crunching in the background, it's dinner time for someone. I
Storycraft does a good job, but I wanted to break down the genres further, and I do a better job. So I did more splits, and I had 72 fiction and only 7 nonfiction. So for me, the nerd in me was like, oh, that's only 7. Like, I should be reading at least 1 per month. Or, I don't know, a little more than that. So that's kind of one thing that I think this next year, 2026, I want to challenge myself to read a little more nonfiction. But as far as genre, I just actually today downloaded my whole list of books and then recategorized them by their predominant genre. And my first one, which I hate this term, but I'm going to use it. My first one is literary fiction. So I think 26% of my reads were literary fiction. Let me pull up my spreadsheet. 28% were... Nope, I completely lied. I know you love percentages, and this is really fascinating content. But I do love these kinds of things.
There's someone out there who's like, don't stop, show me the graph.
I have it here.
Can I see your spreadsheet?
I used Excel, like equations, that's how you call them, formulas. Okay, so speculative fiction. So I umbrellaed, I didn't break out fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian, etc., horror. I just did speculative.
Okay,
So that was 28%. Then literary, then mystery, which I think...
Oh, yeah, you did read a lot of mystery this year.
And I completely blame it on, I have a lovely friend, Seagal. Who did you think I was going to blame it on?
No, sorry. I thought you were going to blame it on those little, like, cozy mysteries.
British
that
ones?
that you...
Yes!
Oh, okay.
My friend got me into these, not Agatha Christie, different Agatha Horizon. I'm like, should I even talk about this? I went during tough parts of life, just listening to this little old British lady narrate these books was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Speaking of comfort reads, I didn't put that in our episode.
You like cozy mysteries.
Yeah.
I like...
Not all, though. I've tried
like
other
epic
ones
fantasy.
that are, like, in the mainstream right now.
Yeah.
Like the Marlowe Murder Club. I tried that. I couldn't get into it.
Never even heard of it.
Anyway. Okay. Mystery. And then I also had nonfiction, historical fiction, romance, and YA. So I definitely met my challenge of, like, reading beyond genres that I'm stuck in. I mean, I still read a lot of speculative. We both love speculative.
Yeah.
That's where our hearts are.
Yeah.
It
That's
is our
probably
heart.
always going to be my top genre because especially if you just put it as speculative, that so many
that
different
takes so
great
much.
things fall into it.
Yeah.
That it's like, I wouldn't even magical
Yeah, because you got
realism.
magical realism falls into speculative. Like, this is all the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I've accepted that, and that's fine.
Yeah. And I'm going to say I would like to, henceforth, when I say literary books, I'm just going to call it fiction.
Oh, okay.
Because I think half the books we read that are magical realism and fantasy are literary.
I don't actually think I even understand the distinction between the categories to speak on that. I'm just I use contemporary and literary fiction interchangeably. I have no idea what the difference is.
Okay. To me, the difference is snobbiness.
Okay, I was going to say, do you want to enlighten us on what? Do you know what the actual difference is?
Academics who think that there is a canon of literature and that some literature is more important and more impactful than others. This is how I'm defining it. Feel free to disagree with me. But that is, like, you'll have fiction that you think is funny or enjoyable. That's not literary. It's not making a difference in the world, although I would disagree. So to me, it's a very ivory tower looking down on the rest of the writers. And
then contemporary is just like it's modern.
It's written in it's modern. It's fiction that's not historical fiction. So yeah, you got historical fiction and contemporary, and then fiction.
And then you have literary fiction.
We should do a whole episode just on genre.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, the only genre I understand completely is speculative because it's like, well, you've made something up. I can understand that. That makes sense to me. Yeah. That word makes sense to explain it. Everything about it makes sense. Yeah. It tracks. And romance obviously tracks.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I think that's, I don't know, any other stats that stood out to you?
I don't think so. I mean, my top authors were Robin Hobb and Cassandra Clare, which makes sense.
Robin Hobbin, is that like you said? Robin
Hobbin. Robin Hobbin.
Robin Hobbin.
That sounds like a fairy tale. Not a fairy tale, but like a child's author or something. Robin Hobb and Cassandra Clare were my top authors. And then my third top author was Olivia Blake. Because I read one of her trilogies and then one other book from her, and that put it up to 4. So
I don't think I've ever read Olivia Blake.
I don't think you have either. I'm not sure how you would feel about her, actually. Okay. But actually, in our February episode, we're doing an episode all about love, and one of her books is in there, and it's not the one you think.
Get ready, friends. Oh, the Atlas 6. That's who that is. Okay. Yeah, no. Yeah, the only other thing I would say from my stats that I thought was interesting, another challenge I had for myself in 2020.
In 2020.
So energetic today. The sun is finally shining and I'm hyper. Was works in translation. And I'm trying to challenge myself to read more. And I think I read 23? No, that's not true. That's way more than I read. Where's my 5? I read 5 works in translation. Russia, Japan, Poland, 2 from different parts of South America. So I want to keep that up in 2026. So okay,
cool.
Top 5.
Sure.
Because we're all about ranking things.
Well, my top 5 isn't in a rank. It's just the ones I liked the most.
Mine isn't either. It's not like countdown to the best book.
To the best one, yeah. I don't think I could do that.
And these are books we read in 2025, not that were published in 2025.
Oh, that's a good distinction, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to kick us off?
Sure. I'll start with the one that we... Don't mind my reaching. The one that we... This is too much work. Okay. This is hard. The one that we just talked about, so then we don't have to talk about it all that much, but Oryx and Crake did make it on my list. I loved this book. I thought it was funny. It was interesting. Jimmy is such a good main character.
Jimmy.
I love calling him Jimmy or Snowman. I like both his personalities. I loved that book. That's my first one.
You can just
short and
put
concise.
It right here. Is that an awkward reach for you?
Well, no, it's fine. I'm good. Anyways.
That was it. Okay.
I'm done.
So I chose this book, which I think you also read this year.
I did, yeah.
The Tainted Cup, which I constantly want to call the Tilted Cup, just because this is tilted. That's how my brain works.
That's all it does.
Robert Jackson Bennett. The second book actually came out this year, but I randomly picked this up in the used section of one of my favorite libraries, bookstores. But the reason I chose this, I don't know that it's like my favorite read, but I thought it was the most original thing I read this year. It's a mystery, fantasy, kind of like buddy cop story, all blended together, and it just was so unique to anything I've read before that put it up there in the top 5 for me of just like, hey, there is still something new
different
under the sun.
Yeah.
Yay. And also the characters of the two main, I mean, it's exactly what you want in a buddy cop detective type story. The two main characters, the detectives, whatever we want to call them, are very eccentric and strange, and they're wonderful, and that keeps you going. But it's just kind of the conglomeration of genres that for me made this stand out. So that's in my top 5.
Yeah. My next one is Hungerstone by Kate Dunn. Cat Dunn. Oh, you're right. It's a Carmilla retelling. It's a Sapphic Carmilla retelling.
Sapphic Carmilla.
And it is just so good. It's the best, for me, the best representation of female rage ever, and the build of the book I thought was done so well. Like you are, as a reader, are getting angry. You're like, when are you gonna stop leaving these people shoot around? And you just are getting angrier and angrier. So then when you have the climax of the book, it is so satisfying. I highly recommend, even if you don't like vampire stories, because it's not that gory. That's it. Like the vampire part is, and I think I haven't read Carmilla, so I don't know. Have you?
I haven't, but I would like to.
But I think like it's not. I think the point or the conceit of Carmilla is you don't really know I don't think you don't find out they're vampires until the very, very, very end. It's very just, you're kind of aware as a reader, but like the main characters have no idea what's going on, and it's not like in your face in any way.
Cool.
So I highly recommend that one. I think that was such a well done vampire story.
On the female rage, have you read Damsel by Elana K. Arnold?
No, but didn't they make that into, is it a YA book? Didn't they make it into a Netflix movie?
Yeah, I didn't, which is very strange to me that they would make it into a Netflix movie, just because it's so triggering.
Oh, how funny, because like the Netflix movie looks bad, so makes me not want to read the book. But
no, Elana K. Arnold's a great writer. It's YA. At the time I read it, it was too, like, you're not always in the rage mode, and I wasn't in the rage mode, so it felt too much rage. But it is a great example of female rage. It's like the premise is the damsel in distress the knight goes to save from the dragon. She becomes friend with the dragon and kills the knight, basically. I'm probably saying this all wrong, so don't hold me to it.
Okay.
But it's just flipping stories on end.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hungerstone. Okay. Let's see. What do I want to talk about next? I think I'm going to talk about one I don't have in hand, so I'll put it up on the screen. Orbital was one of my top 5 that I read this year. And I hesitate to put ones that win all the awards up just because they've already won all the awards. But it's truly worth the read.
Yeah. I think that's helpful too, because there's a lot of books that win awards and I start reading them and I'm like, oh, this is not my jam.
No, I would highly recommend Orbital. It is a quiet read, very contemplative. I don't know which way to say that. How do you say it?
I don't know. Probably both. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Now that you've said both words, I'm like, well, is there a difference? I don't know. Contemplative. No, I definitely don't say that. I can't even get it out of my mouth. So I say contemplative.
Yeah, so it's very, that. And I swear we have lots of education, but nobody corrects us when we mispronounce things. Anyway.
I correct myself, so they don't need to. I know when it's wrong.
It's, the story from orbit, and it's told from multiple points of view as this spacecraft is going through orbit. And it's just one of those books that's quiet and a little melancholy, but beautiful reflections on life and what it is to live on Earth. But I would say if you're in a mode where you want something fast-paced, save it for a quiet time so that you can actually enjoy it, because it won't be what you want if you're in the mood for something zippy. Yeah. But yeah, definitely top 5.
This one will be quick as well because we're going to do a deep dive on it. But the whole series, I have the first one, Black Sun, but the whole trilogy of Between Earth and Sky, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It was just so good. We'll talk about it more literally in the next episode. But it was very, very good. And if you like fantasy, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
That's that.
Okay, so for me, as we're counting down, I know I've talked about this book before, but top 5 of this year was a nonfiction read. And it was How to Stand Up to a Dictator by Maria-Ressa. It came out in 2022. She's a journalist from the Philippines who was there during the reign of Duterte. I never say his name right. I don't really care about him, though, so I don't care if I mispronounce his name. But the book is about her experience as a journalist, standing up to fascism, and also being on the forefront of talking about how these totalitarian governments are using social media to make everything happen. And she was shouting about this long before Trump was elected, and we're seeing the same things. But it was just, for me, listening to her story, just another person who's gone through what we're going through but is standing up, and she's still standing, and they made it to the other side. So I just found it hopeful in a way and inspiring. So I recommend. I listened to it for what it's worth. I don't know if I recommend one over the other, but that was my first.
You said she was from the Philippines? They're not still under authoritarian rule?
They're not under Duterte. Now I'm gonna have to edit out
I don't know.
every time.
That part I don't know, but I thought they were still under authoritarian rule, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Not important.
Well, I mean, kind of. No.
I mean, they might be, but he isn't he is not in power. He was the president from 2016 to 2022.
Yeah. Okay, you just mean he's gone, not
Yeah, he's
necessarily
gone.
that they're not.
Yeah, and it was under
authoritarian
his.
rule.
I mean, there was this huge crackdown on drugs. Yeah. Also, speaking of Duterte and everything that happened there, a great YA book. I know this is so distracting, all the tangents, but let me look his name up. I want to make sure I don't. Yeah, Randy Ribay. I'm sorry. I really hope I'm saying your name right. I will look it up after this, which I should do my work. Anyway, he is a Bay Area writer who writes YA books, and he wrote this really gorgeous book called The Patron Saints of Nothing about a Filipino-American young man who starts writing to his cousin in the Philippines during Duterte's reign, and his cousin disappears. And he ends up going to the Philippines to try to figure out what happened to him. So if you want a young adult approach to understanding and hearing about some of what people went through not that long ago, 4 years ago, that's a great read. Okay.
My last two I don't have. My next one is The Bee Sting by Paul Murray, and it is also a Booker Prize winner. I think it won the year before Orbital won. But that story, what I'll say is when I would listen to people talk about what the story was about, it never made me want to read it, other than them saying it's very good and you should read it and that the ending's insane. But every other thing that they said, I was like, that doesn't sound good. So I don't even want to say what it's about, other than it is very good. It's very well written. And the ending, I think he ends it very well. I think his build, it's another story that has a great build. And I also feel like it's crafted in an interesting way. So there was like a lot about that book that I loved. So yeah, that one, I'm like, The Bee Sting was, if you've been thinking about it, you've heard other people talk about it and you're like, I really don't think I'm into that. You are into it. It is good. Read it.
Do you have to be in a certain mood when you approach it?
I don't think so.
Just read it.
I mean, it has some triggering things in it.
Okay.
So I think be aware of that.
I saw it at the library yesterday, but it's so big.
He doesn't shy away from things. It reads very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, it is very large, but I read it so fast, and it is so good. His ability to like build suspense in his books was well done. Chef's kiss. Well done, Paul Murray.
Chef's kiss.
Paul Murray?
Paul Murray.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Where am I at? I'm losing count. I have to look down. So we did Tainted Cup, Orbital. Yeah, I'm on Beautyland. Okay, this book, when it came out, did it come out this year? I feel like it did. 2024. So no. Came out in paperback this year, which is why I picked it up. Because of the name, I think I kept seeing it. And I was like, I don't know, because I thought it was going to be something about beauty.
Beautyland.
Which it is, but I thought it was going to be about cosmetics and that kind of thing. I finally read it, and it like Orbital, is that quiet contemplation on the beauty of what it is to be a human. But the premise of this is from pre-birth, so the main character is in the womb and is having these thoughts through death. You're going through her life. And she has been told that she is an alien who they've impregnated a human, and she is being born into Earth to report back to them. So throughout the book, she's sending them fax messages through a fax machine. And it's her kind of trying to understand what it is to be human, and it goes through all the emotions, joy, romance, grief, loss, depression, and then finally death. But it is truly beautiful. I have not cried in a long time from a book, and I did cry at the end of this book because but from beauty, not from sadness.
That is my type of book.
Yeah, it was
it's gonna make me cry,
I remember exactly where I was when I finished this book, and I needed to stay in that moment, and I wanted to carry it with me to remember that even with everything, there is beauty in life and in this thing that we do that is so alien to all of us. Each of us, I think, feels a little alien at one time or another.
Yeah.
So
I've actually seen this book pop up on a couple people's best book lists, so
I started there.
There's that.
No, I'm kidding. They started the trend. Okay.
My last one is a series, and I had to put it on here because I was obsessed with it for a good portion of the year. I read it. I think I read a couple of them twice, maybe just one of them. Anyways, it's the Shadowhunter series. I started with the Infernal Devices because people said the originals weren't very good. They're fine.
I love that lip smack. Is that what you call it? A lip smack? No.
A tisk.
A tisk.
Yeah. I guess, I don't know. A click.
Cluck.
Yeah.
This is important dialogue.
We got there. Anyways, I mean, I think they are like to me, I'm like, that's fantasy romance.
Yeah. This is Cassandra Clare.
Mm-hmm, yeah. It's good enough fantasy and really good romance. So much yearning in those books. It's so great. And like each little trilogy has its own bits and pieces that I think make them so good, which is why I liked them. They weren't, the parts that she's really good at were a continual thread throughout all the books, but she did a good job of changing them up enough that each one does feel like its own little unit. My personal favorite grouping was the Dark Artifices, which I know is like a controversial opinion, but that's the one I liked, and I don't know why.
Read any Cassandra.
I don't know why. I can't give you a reason. I don't even know why I like these books, but I do. And I'm very excited for her to come out with her last trilogy, or the first book in her last trilogy. I'm very upset that
this year.
It's coming out in 2026, and I'm very annoyed that the series started when I was probably in high school. It started like 20 years ago, and it's not fucking finished. And I started it.
How dare you, writer? Take your time with your craft.
Right now, I'm just very annoyed that I have to now wait. I don't know how long to be able to finish this, and I am very invested. So, anyhow, that is my slight rant. And my, if you are at all interested in fantasy romance, then you have to read Cassandra Clare. I just feel like, sorry, I'm getting back in the frame. Yeah, I'm like slowly leaving. Goodbye. Oops, sorry. Anyways, yeah, I really, really loved them. So I think if you like fantasy romance, if you liked A Court of Thorns and Roses, then you have to read Cassandra Clare because she did it first and she did it better. Nice. It's not as smutty, but they're YA, so you have to accept it.
I think I'm going to last minute switch out my last of the top 5 books.
Okay, change your mind. Ooh. That happens.
Because there's going to be honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, we're not done.
Because we can't just choose 5. Okay, so I think I'm going to say that the last of the top 5, we're doing this dystopian series. The second part will be coming next month, maybe. It will be coming. But the book I read from the 1920s is called We. And it's a very famous book in the dystopian genre. A lot of people believe it kicked off the genre and inspired like Margaret Atwood and a lot of the writers we look up to today. It's a Russian book that is in translation. And I believe even though it was written in the 20s, it didn't get published in Russia until the 80s because of censorship.
How did he do that though? Like, where did he shop around? Was he living in Russia?
Did he shop around?
You know what I mean? I have so many questions.
Like, how did interview his ghost? We'll talk more about it in the dystopian episode. Okay, I don't want to go into all the details now. But the reason that one is
you do have those answers, though?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, great. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I did a lot of research on these books. More than can fit in an episode. But the reason I like this one is it's a specific translation that I read. It did not feel like a book from the 1920s. It felt like it could have been written today, not just because of the content, but the style of the writing. Have you read it yet?
I haven't read it yet, but okay. I'm obviously going to.
And then a lot of people feel like dystopian is too depressing given the world we live in, but for me, I find it hopeful because it means this has happened before. And we keep finding a way. We keep going forward. And it gives you examples of people who like stand up in dystopian times. Mm-hmm. And We is an example of that. And it was just clever and hilarious. And I can't believe it was written in the 20s. Like, well done. So that I will say is my last of the top 5 for. And I'll put the translator up in the notes under YouTube. I don't have the name right now because I read one translation and then I listened to another translation. And I do recommend one translation over the other. So I will make sure I put the one I recommend in the notes.
Cool. Great. Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Okay, my honorable mention is...
We can both say that without lisping.
Is this? I realize this is actually the last book in the series, but I read I'd call this contemporary, I guess.
Okay.
Novel. The first novel is called The Glorious Heresies. It was like during, I had a little bit of Irish author deep dive of my own after I read.
I feel like those are the two themes of 2025 for you, based on what you've told me, is
Irish
fantasy
authors.
and Irish authors.
Yeah, maybe so.
But not just fantasy, epic fantasy series.
Yeah, I mean, I only read 2, but they were long. But they were very long.
And then Irish writers.
Yeah, I read a lot of Irish writers. I think spring or summer. I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is written by Lisa McClarney. I don't know. You tell me. I'm dyslexic, so if I don't say it right, I have a reason.
At least you have a reason. I just have me.
Anyways, it's basically it's a trilogy. The first book is like multi POV, and it's centered around this young kid named Ryan Cusack, and the second book is just his POV, and then the third book is multi POV again. And he's a poor Irish kid, and he becomes a drug dealer, and it's kind of, you're following him. And basically the way I describe it is like, I also had a period of time where I was reading like messy female in your 20s. So then I switched to messy male in your 20s, and that's what this is a messy male in his 20s. But I think it's very well done. I think if you like things like Sally Rooney, if you like Irish authors, it's very Irish. I think you would like this. And it's not quite as well known. I found it on a list of like top Irish books, modern Irish books. So that's how I found it, but I really liked it. And I would give it a go if you're interested.
Any other honorable mentions? Where's that going to be?
Oh, my other honorable mention was the other very long series that I read by Robin Hobb, The Realm of the Elderlings.
Yeah.
I personally liked the Farseer books the best. I definitely liked the Magic Ship books. I can't remember what that trilogy was called. But I thought she did a very good job. I felt like for a writer who started writing these books in the 90s, she had a lot of very diverse, interesting characters. And I feel like after you invested all this time, I feel like she ended the series very well. And in a way that is very satisfying to the reader. And I definitely was like crying and doing all the things during the books.
Doing all the things. What's we doing besides crying?
I got crying, laughing, having all the feelings, feeling warm and fuzzy,
yelling,
feeling frustrated, being upset, all the things. I thought it was very good. She has like a character who's like gender non-conforming, and he develops this relationship with a cis straight man, and they end up having this like aromantic soulmate relationship. And I just feel like that's very forward thinking for something starting in the 90s. I don't think it's the way she meant to start it. The character starts as gender non-conforming, but I think the way she develops this relationship between these two main characters is very interesting, and I loved them. So
okay,
it was a good way to start the year.
I have 3 honorable mentions.
Okay, well, you have to get rid of one. Just kidding. I can add more. I'm just kidding.
I can get rid of one.
No, you don't actually have
Actually,
to.
do you
We
wanna
can
get
have
rid of
odd numbers.
We don't have to match in everything.
No, isn't that weird? We can
can't
be our own people.
You can't even tell. This is polka dots, and she's wearing a polka dot skirt. But it's like very different takes on the theme. I've got like Doc Martens on. She's got a flower top. Okay, so this is Paul Harding. This other Eden. It's a National Book Award finalist. It won the Pulitzer Prize, or at least he did. I don't know if it did, so don't let me misquote this. This is a historical fiction. It is very short, about something that happened in 1792 on Malaga Island. And it is not a pleasant, happy story. But I've actually read a children's book about this exact same topic. Also highly recommend. But it's just so beautifully written and important to remember these parts of history. So that's all I'll say. Beautiful. It's just beautiful. I had a really good talk with
somebody in the bookstore when I picked this up. They saw
Oh,
I
yeah, I
had
remember telling
it,
me
and
that.
I ended up having this long conversation with the bookseller, and she loved this book, and she was right. So highly recommend. Honorable mention. Could have been in my top 5. This was my last minute. I didn't know which one should be in the top 5. It was so hard to choose.
I have a quick side story that
Okay.
just reminded me. I was talking to a bookseller. I was getting the second book in the Red Rising trilogy, or one of the books in the Red Rising trilogy, not the first one. And she was asking me if I liked it. And I was like, I thought it was okay. I was like, enough to read the second one, but I was like going into it, and she was like, oh, I just started and I really like it. And then I was like going into the plus and minuses, and I could tell immediately that she was like, I don't agree with anything you're saying. I think this book is wonderful. And I was like, oh, I'm making an enemy actively, but I couldn't like stop myself. I was like, let's have a dialogue. I like really wanted her to tell me why she liked it so much, but I could tell she was getting very put off by me. And I was like, okay, you're making it worse. Just leave, pay and leave.
And that is a good reminder of how we do this podcast is if something didn't hit us right, it's not because the book's not good. It's because we
Exactly,
all
yeah.
have different personalities, and so things are going to hit us different.
Exactly.
Just like,
You're looking for different things out of books.
yeah, so hopefully between our 2 personalities, you're going to get a good breadth. Okay, next. I'm not going to say much about it other than Zadie Smith is a great writer.
Yeah.
This had been on my TBR forever. I finally pulled it off the shelf this year on Beauty. Read it.
Yeah.
It's a contemporary fiction set in academia, about academia and race and class. Beautiful. And then the final one is similar to Beautyland. It's and yet very different. It's called Life Hacks for Little Aliens. You also read this book.
Oh, I did. Yeah. That
we
was
both
good.
liked
Actually,
it.
I do have one more honorable mention now that you mentioned that, but go ahead.
Now that you've mentioned, and I'll mention that you should mention.
We just keep going.
And then the episode never ends.
And now that you mentioned that, I can think of this.
Life Hacks for Little Aliens is the same premise without the full arc of the story of someone, a young person who believes that they are an alien and is going through life, and they are on the spectrum. And it is a small book, beautifully told, and it's just this looking at life through this lens of why do we do certain things and how do we behave in certain ways, and trying to understand that and trying to live. And I felt very seen by it because I often am like, am I the only one who's struggling to understand these norms? No. So yeah, honorable mention for 2025.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I read a few books this year that either were written by neurodivergent authors or had a neurodivergent main character.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like, either I just discovered it this year or publishing is publishing more and more stories like this. And the other one I would mention is, because it's not quite as direct, of like this, in Life Hacks for Little Aliens, the character is autistic. But in Someone You Build a Nest In, the monster has, if you know anyone who's autistic or you are neurodivergent yourself, you will be like, why do I see myself so much in this monster? But the author was neurodivergent, who wrote it, and I just felt like it's really well done. And like, what is it like to socialize when your brain doesn't quite process social language the same way, and language in general the same way everybody else does.
And that's another good example of a book we both read, not knowing. I don't think you knew I had already read it when you read it.
No, I knew I had. You told me I wouldn't like it, but
yeah, that's why I want to call it out, is because I did not pick up on the fact that the person was neurodivergent. It's kind of a horror.
Yeah, horror-esque. It's a romance horror.
It's a romance horror. And it was just a little more horror than for me.
Yeah, she thought it would be too gross for me. But I think it's hard for you to know what grosses me out and what doesn't, because it's very specific.
She has very specific
things that gross me out, and other things that I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, on that note, those are our highlights of a year of a lot of reading for both of us. I think I read less than I have in other years, but I read broader than I have in other years.
That's good, yeah.
Which is nice, and I think I want to keep that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Any final words on 2025?
No, I would just say, look forward to things coming up in 2026. Well, actually, congratulations to us for starting a podcast and still doing it.
Congratulations, us. Oh, wait,
happy 2025. I don't have anything left. For me, you can put some in there.
I'm not going to get up.
No, I mean like from your cup.
Okay, excuse us while we make sure that we can cheers and swap germs.
Yeah.
Spill
Cheers. Cheers
Cheers
to
to
us.
us. Cheers to those
And
of you
to
who
you.
watch this.
Anyways,
Yeah, we executed on an idea. And
we did.
and a way to like find joy in the chaos of life and the chaos of what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
This was one way of doing it for ourselves.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And then
thanks
I
for
would
coming
just
along.
say, look forward to the rest of the dystopian
Yep.
episode all about love in February. Potential things. We would love to hear ideas from you of like what
Yeah,
you
what
want
do
to
you want
hear.
us to
If you
talk
want
about?
us to do more deep dives on like series,
Is there
we were
something you
thinking
want
about.
us to make ourselves read to talk about?
Yeah, we were thinking about doing author deep dives. We had other ideas, and now they've slipped out of
Coming
my
up
head.
next is we're doing a very intense deep dive on the Between Youth and Sky. We mentioned that at the beginning. So it'll be full spoilers, and it will be a lot of us talking about why we loved it for a very long
It
time.
really is just us being like, love, 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 and then I love this, and then I love that, and remember when this happened?
It might not be your cup of tea, but that's next, and then we'll move forward from there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exciting.
new year ahead of us.
Yeah,
let's
Happy
go.
New Year to Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
New Year to you too.
Great.
All right, goodbye.
Goodbye.